What's up guys, I'm Vocal Strike and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution. Last time, Yuko and Yuri have become one, and now Yuri is hunting down Yuya. And this time, it is time to reunite. As for Zuzu, Selena captured and locked her in a cage. Selena is also affected by the fusion parasite. Selena, what's gotten into you? You're supposed to be on my side. On your side? Get real. I'm working for the professor now. Ah! Zuzu! In Leo Akaba's chamber, Yusho confronted his old friend. At long last, Yusho. Leo, how could you do this? How could the creator of the Arc system, who brought smiles to so many faces, now want to hurt people? Haven't you ever wondered why each of the 4 dimensions has a different summoning method? It's because all 4 dimensions used to exist as one, before they were separated. When my Arc system finally made its public debut in this world, it caused a sensation. But no one could foresee that my invention would lead to disaster. Disaster? Unknowingly, I had unleashed a force I couldn't control. And the trouble all began with a duelist known as Zarc. As Duelist took great joy in crushing his opponents, and the more brutal the takedown, the more the crowd cheered. And that's when I realized that with my Arc technology, I didn't create mere holograms. I created real-life monsters. As Zarc unleashed his fury on the world, so did his dragons. If we couldn't defeat him, the least we could do was try and stop him. And stop him we did. You were able to stop him. How? Yuya! Dad, I can't believe I finally found you. I really could use your help now, Dad. They kidnapped Zuzu. Zuzu? Leo, I don't know what your ultimate plan is, but kidnapping an innocent girl? Whatever you're up to, just put an end to it. For my sake, and for my son's sake. No, Yusho. I'm afraid I cannot. And especially not for your son, or shall I say your so-called son. What exactly do you mean? Zuzu, Selena, Rin, Lulu, what have you done with them? Though free from their mind control, the 4 were trapped inside glass capsules. You got some nerve locking me up in here, Professor. Now, Selena. You might not realize this, but I'm doing it for your own good. Since I created this problem, I created a solution. 4 cards to defeat Zarc. However, my cards were stolen. Stolen? But why? By who? By someone I care more about than life itself. By Ray, my daughter. Daughter? Yeah, Declan has a sister that he was never aware of. In the manga, Ray does not exist though. Declan is an only child in the manga. Yes, Ray used the cards to fight against Zarc, but as a result she split the dimensions into 4, and she also split herself into 4. What do you mean? You 4 are my daughter Ray. That means Zuzu is also Ray. Exactly. So if I'm to bring my Ray back, then I must reunite the dimensions and these girls back into one. Bring her back? Correct. That is why I launched my Arc Area project and the Arc 5 reactor. I dispatched my students to the other dimensions with a single mission: turn people into cards. Reuniting all 4 dimensions requires energy. Life energies of the people I've sealed inside those cards. I don't believe it. Declan, you must join my side, and together we must defeat Yuya. Defeat Yuya? Similar to how Ray was split into 4 individuals, so was Zarc. The piece of Zarc from the standard dimension is Yuya. To make certain that Zarc can never resurrect again, we must eliminate him. Are we really pieces of Zarc? Hey, you're wrong. I'm not evil, because I duel to bring joy to the world. At least that's what I hope. You do, Yuya, because I was there and I've seen it with my own eyes. Ah, there you are. It's you. Where are your manners? I do have a name, you know. It's Yuri, and I'm here to absorb you. like I did your friend Yugo. Not a chance. Yuya, this is one duel you must absolutely win. Let's do this. So yeah, Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri. The reason why they were in a trance, the reason why they could absorb each other, is because they are all split pieces of Zarc, who was once an action duelist, a dueltainer if you will, who was very much like Yuya, who brought joys to people. And his dragons were essentially Clearwing, Dark Rebellion, Odd Eyes, and Starving Venom. Like Yuya, he dueled in an action duel to bring smiles to people, to entertain the crowd. And he also had this habit of talking to his dragons, like he was having a conversation with them. But then an incident happened and he went too far by accident, which made the crowd cheer and he ate it up. So then he started believing, hey, this brutality, this destruction, this chaos, this is what they want, so I'll give it to them. And become the ultimate monster, thus creating Supreme King Zarc. Destruction was getting so bad to the point to where the military got involved and actually brought in their weapons, even some of their strongest weapons, but nothing was hurting him. So Leo created the 4 cards, which Ray stole, and defeated Zarc. However, it was only a temporary solution. In doing so, she split Zarc, herself, and the dimensions into 4, creating Selena, Lulu, Rin, and Zuzu, Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri, as well as the standard, XC, Synchro, and Fusion dimensions. Leos was one of the people who survived and actually remembered what happened. No one else remembered. Holograms came back instead of the solid vision. So he used his knowledge of his past life, essentially, in lack of a better term, to create solid vision, which also in turn jump-started Yusho's career as a dueltainer. Let's see, what cards do we have in our extra deck? Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Nirvana High Paladin, Enlightenment Paladin, Rune Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Yuri actually has both Starving Venom and Clearwing, so we need to look out for those. But in the manga, again, there are no multiple dimensions. Zuzu is the only one of those 4 girls that actually exist in the manga. And Yuya, Yugo, Yuto, and Yuri are also in the manga, but they are not alternate versions of each other. They're not part of one person. In the manga, Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri are brothers. Actual blood-related brothers. They are not stepbrothers or anything. They all share the same parents. However, we never actually see what Yuya's mother looks like, sort of, in the manga. We actually do see what she looks like and what she is actually like in the anime. And in the anime, Yuya's mother was a biker gang leader who used a biker-themed deck. And if you messed with her gang, you messed with her and she'd pummel you into the ground. But then, her wild and troublemaking antics finally caught up with her and she was getting into trouble. So Yusho shows up to save the day and bring smiles to people's faces to stop the violence. Afterwards, she disbanded the gang, she turned over a new leaf, got her life straightened out, and fell in love and married Yusho. In the manga, though, we never actually see Yuya's mother. Sort of. At the end of the manga, after Yuya defeats Eve and Declan and rips and destroys the Genesis Omega Dragon card, Declan has Silvio and Shay take Sora and Zuzu so that they can stay in their own time period. Zuzu wanted to go with Yuya, but Yuya said no, you need to go back, and hands her his ace monster, Odd Eye's Phantom Dragon. Declan and Yuya then go through the time portal to take on the creators of Genesis Omega Dragon, but that's where the manga ends. There's no follow-up. It kind of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. Zuzu then, basically fell in love with Yuya during those adventures. And, she was constantly thinking about him and couldn't get him out of her mind. She then comes across a young Yusho Sakaki. And that's also where it ends. So it kind of hints at that perhaps I should have gotten rid of Pendulum Call. That at that point it's more or less hinted that that Zuzu is Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri's mother. But during Yuya's duel with Eve, Eve used, I believe it was called a Mystic archetype or a Mystic deck. I forget what it's entirely called. During your opponent's battle phase, send one spell from your hand to the graveyard in the battle phase. Then face up monsters currently on the field, have their effects negated until the end of this turn. Oh. You could destroy it. Oh. Yeah, no, let's end the battle phase by getting rid of Pendulum Call. Let's go ahead and Pendulum Summon. But Eve had the Genesis Omega Dragon in her deck. But she also used 3 other cards known as Legendary Monsters. And these weren't called Legendary Monsters because, they were one-of-a-kind cards or anything. These were more or less references of past types or archetypes of cards that was used in the series in the past. Like Yuya, her deck was able to fusion, synchro, Xyz, and pendulum summon, so she could do all 4. Her main pendulum monster, of course, was the Genesis Omega Dragon. But her main fusion monster, and we will be covering these other 3 cards because honestly they are kind of important and big, and I thought it was a really nice touch that they referenced archetypes of old. The fusion monster was a Phantasm monster. She had a Synchro Time Lord monster and an Xyz number monster. The fusion monster was Phantasm Emperor Trilogic, which is a dark attribute level 10 fiend type fusion effect monster with 4,000 attack points and 4,000 defense points. Requires 3 level 10 monsters to fusion summon. If this card is special summoned, or if another monster is special summoned from the graveyard to your field while you control this monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack points. You can only use this effect of Phantasm Emperor Trilogic once per turn. So, if Trilogic was special summoned, or if any monster was special summoned from the graveyard to your side of the field, while you control Trilogic, you can target any of face-up monster your opponent controls and inflict effect damage that is half that monster's attack points. Its original attack points, rather, but you can only do it once per turn. It does require 3 level 10 monsters to fusion summon, but honestly, since you are able to deck search, you can draw more cards, you can manipulate monsters' levels, etc. It probably wouldn't be that hard to bring out if you know what you're doing. You could even use the 3 Sacred Beasts to fusion summon Phantasm Emperor Trilogic. And Phantasm Emperor Trilogic is a reference to GX, since the Sacred Beasts, more specifically the GX anime, since the Sacred Beasts were also known as the Phantasms in the Japanese version of the show. The Time Lord Synchro monster is Time Lord Progenitor Vorpgate, which is a dark attribute level 10 fairy type synchro effect monster with 0 attack points and 0 defense points. Requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters to synchro summon. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card that was special summoned from the extra deck battled, you can activate this effect. Banish all monsters your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of this turn, you have the battle damage your opponent takes. Once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, special summon as many monsters as possible that you banished with this card effect to your opponent's field. So, it's essentially invincible. The only way that you can get rid of Vorpgate is literally by either banishing it or by bouncing it back into the extra deck. It can banish all of your opponent's monsters. You take no battle damage with fights involving Vorpgate. It's actually pretty dangerous, all things considered. You can basically wipe out all of your... You can basically get rid of all of your opponent's monsters for a turn, but at the same time, your opponent only takes half the battle damage they would normally take. So this card is actually fairly dangerous, not gonna lie. And Vorpgate is of course a reference to the 5Ds anime. Since it's a Time Lord, the final antagonist, Zone, used a Time Lord deck against Yusei at the end of the 5Ds anime. DXC's monster is number XX, Utopic Dark Infinity, which is a dark attribute rank 10 warrior type XC's effect monster with 4,000 attack points and 4,000 defense points. Requires 2+ level 10 monsters, so 2 or more level 10s. When a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can detach 1 overlay unit from this card, then target that monster. Special summon it to your field in defense position. You can target 1 other face-up special summon monster you control and gain life points equal to its original attack points. You can only use each effect of number XX Utopic Dark Infinity once per turn. So it gets rid of an overlay unit to special summon it on the field in defense position. Then you can take that special summon monster, or just any special summon monster that isn't Utopic Dark Infinity, and gain life points equal to its attack points. So it basically helps you stay alive in a duel. And as you could guess, number XX Utopic Dark Infinity is a Zexal reference to both, as number monsters was an important plot device in both the Zexal anime and Zexal manga. All in all, those cards are fairly dangerous. The Time Gazer and Stargazer Magician pairing is really good in Pendulum decks, because it just seals up your opponent's back row. There's just nothing they can do about it when it comes to the battle phase. Oh, you're gonna... No, you're not. You can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one opponent's monsters with a Predator counter. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, place one Predator counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls. If you do, any of those monsters that are level 2 or higher become level 1, as long as they have a Predator counter. I need a Pendulum summon. Let's get rid of you first. And that's it. Yuya won the tough duel, but it proved costly. So this is what being a loser feels like. I bet this is just how Yugo must feel every single day. So Zark isn't gonna be making any kind of comeback. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Cause Yuya's a winner, not a loser like you. Right, Yuya? Yuya? I won, Declan. You wanted me to focus on winning, and I won. Yuya? I won, just like you wanted. And from now on, there isn't any more duel-taining, only winning. You wanted a more brutal duel, so I gave it to you. Uh-oh, Zark is coming out. What's going on? Nothing good. Astrograph Sorcerer. Astrograph Sorcerer is the fusion of, Time Gazer and Stargazer Magician. I call on you to use your mystical powers to reshape us into a single unstoppable force. I'm back. Finally free. And now we have to defeat Zark in a ray of hope. Yuya, Yuri, Yugo, and Yuto united together to become the evil Zark. White along faces. It is I, Zark. Didn't you wish for my return? I'm back to give you what you want. A duel. A brutal duel like no other. Everything we did has led to this. The end of everything. But it's not too late to make up for our mistakes. I know we can stop Zark, but only if we work together. You are gonna help me, right, Sora? Not a chance. But if you want to help me take down Zark, then I'm all in. Pendulum, XC, Synchro, Fusion. With the mightiest power of each of the 4 dimensions combined, we are Supreme King Zark. Ah! Aster, you take a break. Leave the rest to me. Sora, don't worry about a thing. I guess we're gonna have to pick up where those two left off. Then let's get on with it, Kite. You wasted my time, and now you'll pay the price. Yeah, Crow and Jack actually did show up earlier to help back up the Lancers. Yuya's seen better days. That's Zarc. He's the worst of the worst of the worst, and he's got Yuya under wraps. Well then, if that thing has Yuya, let's defeat that monster and free him. Gon's good with that. I have to hand it to you, Jack. You're better than those other dolts I beat, but you're going down like all the rest. Jack, don't you worry about a thing. Not when Silvio's arrived to steal the show. Well, don't think I'm gonna let you hog the spotlight and upstage me. None of you will stop me from conquering every dimension. Every one of you has failed so far, and so shall you two fools. Zark, it's been a while. I remember you. My Arc technology may have created realistic monsters, but there has never been a monster as horrifically real as you. Now, the crowd demanded more intense, more brutal duels. I only gave them what they wanted. The people did not want this destruction. I fear it's too late for me to change the past, but I can make up for my mistakes. That's true, Father, but you don't have to do it alone. As you can guess, this is basically a group effort. Everyone from the Fusion that has been here from the Fusion, Synchro, Standard, and XC's dimensions are trying to defeat Zarc, but so far to no avail. Zarc is using the Supreme Kane archetype, and he has Pendulum cards that has scales of 0 and 13, meaning he can effectively Pendulum summon pretty much any cards he wants. Monsters he wants. He also has his own version of the Dimension Dragons. His own version of the Dimension Dragons is Supreme Kane Dragon Odd Eyes, being the effect monster. It is Dark Attribute, level 8, with a Pendulum Scales of 4. It is a Dragon-type Pendulum Effect monster with 2,500 attack points and 2,000 defense points. Its Pendulum Effect is you contribute 1 Supreme Kane Dragon monster. Destroy this card, and if you do, add 1 Pendulum monster with 1,500 or less attack points from your deck to your hand. His monster effect is you contribute 2 Supreme Kane Dragon monsters. Special summon this card from your hand. If your Pendulum monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. During the battle phase, you contribute this card to special summon up to 2 face-up Supreme Kane Dragon and or Supreme Kane Gate Pendulum monsters from your extra deck in defense position, except Supreme Kane Odd Eyes. It basically takes Odd Eyes' Pendulum Dragon effects and upgrades them. The Fusion monster is Supreme Kane Dragon Starving Venom, which is a Dark Attribute, level 8 Dragon-type Fusion effect monster with 2,800 attack points and 2,000 defense points. Requires 2 Dark Pendulum monsters to Fusion summon. Must be either Fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing the above cards you control, in which case you do not use Polymerization. So, you don't have to Fusion summon it if you don't have Polymerization. Once per turn, you can target 1 other monster on the field or in the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's original name, and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. Also for the rest of this turn, if your monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Again, similar effects to Starving Venom, but adds piercing damage this time. And if you don't have Polymerization in your hand, but you have 2 Dark Attribute monsters on your field, you can special summon him from the extra deck. This card is currently on the ban list because it's so easy to bring out. The Synchro Card. The Synchro Dimension Dragon is Supreme Kane Dragon Clearwing, which is a dark attribute, level 8 dragon type synchro effect monster with 2500 attack points and 2000 defense points. Requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner dark pendulum monsters to synchro summon. If this card is synchro summoned, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Once per turn during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack points. If this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute 2 Supreme King Dragon monsters and special summon this card. So it doesn't stay dead unless you banish it. It can destroy all of your opponent's monsters the moment it's summoned. And it can destroy monsters in battle and inflict effect damage equal to that destroyed monster's original attack points. Pretty dangerous. The Xyz monster is Supreme Kane Dragon Dark Rebellion, which is a dark attribute rank 4 dragon type Xyz effect monster with 2500 attack points and 2000 defense points. Requires 2 level 4 dark pendulum monsters to Xyz summon. Once per turn, before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can detach 1 overlay unit from this card. Until the end of this turn, change the attack of that face-up opponent's monster to 0. And if you do, this card gains attack points equal to the original attack points of that opponent's monster. During the battle phase, quick effect. You can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 face-up Supreme King Dragon and or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monsters from your extra deck in defense position. So it cripples. And if you battle it, chances are you're not going to destroy it and he's going to replace it with something else. But he does have one other card, and that is himself. Supreme Kane Zarc, which is a dark attribute, level 12, dragon type fusion pendulum effect monster with that has a pendulum scale of 1. It has 4000 attack points and 4000 defense points, and it requires 4 dragon monsters, 1 fusion, 1 synchro, 1 Xyz, and 1 pendulum to fusion summon. You have to have those 4. Its pendulum effect is Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. Once per turn, when a card or cards is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase or damage step, you can destroy that card or cards. So if he can bring that out, it is hard to summon, but if he can bring that out, he basically locks us down from drawing cards using card effects. His monster effect is, must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. With this card, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 Supreme King Dragon monster from your deck or extra deck. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place this card in your pendulum zone, so it can move from the monster zone to the pendulum zones. On top of that, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, meaning that you either have to bounce it back and it cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which means the only way to get rid of it is through destroying it in battle. Good luck. It's a bit hard to bring out. And it can be a pain to deal with, not gonna lie. But fun fact is that in the anime, it is actually a completely unique style card. And what I mean by that is that In the official card has it being a fusion pendulum monster. It has a unique card art as in the anime. It is treated as an effect monster, a pendulum monster, a fusion monster, a synchro monster, and an Xyz monster. So it's basically everything rolled into one. Let's set the pendulum scales, and what do we got? Triple D Wave Kane Caesar, Triple D Wave High Kane Caesar, Triple D Stone Kane Darius, Triple D Duodon Kane Kali Yuga, Triple D Gust Kane Alexander, Triple D Gust High Kane Alexander, Triple D Oracle King Dark, Triple D Flame King Genghis, and that's it. So we do have a mixture of everything now. 2 level 4 Fiend types. 2 level 6 Fiend types. During either player's turn, you can detach one overlay unit from this card at the end of the battle phase. Special summon from your graveyard as many monsters possible this turn as possible. So it's destroyed this turn as possible. But during the next standby phase, take 1000 damage for each monster special summoned by this effect. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Triple D Wave King Caesar once per turn. Or trap card, or monster effect, spell trap or monster, spell trap card or monster effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster. You can detach 1 overlay unit from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can make 1 other double D monster you control, and this card gain 1800 attack points until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 overlay unit from this card, then target 1 Dark Contract card you control. Destroy it if you do draw a card. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can detach 1 overlay unit from this card. Make this card unable to be destroyed by that battle. Destroy the opponent's monster that battled it after damage calculation. If you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. 2 level 8 double D monsters, which I do have. After this card's Xyz summon for the rest of this turn, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field, and other cards' effects on the field are negated. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 overlay unit from this card, destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. You can detach 1 overlay unit from this card and target 1 Dark Contract spell or trap card in your graveyard and set that card. Okay, 1 double T tuner, 1 more non-tuner. Another double D monster or monsters is normal special summon to your field while you control this face-up card. Except during damage step, you can target 1 level 4 or lower double D monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use the effect of Triple D Gust King Alexander once per turn. 1 tuner, 1 more non-tuner. If 3 or more Triple D monsters are on the field, this card gains 3000 attack points. Ooh. If another double D monster or monsters is normal or special summoned to your field while this card is on the field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 double D monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use this effect of Triple D Gust High King Alexander once per turn. Any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead. If another double D monster or monsters is special summoned to your field while you control face-up card, except during the damage step, you can target 1 double D monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. You can only use this the Triple D Flame King Genghis once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 Dark Contract card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. I would like Oracle King Dark, but I can bring out Duodon King Kali Yuga. Send one double D or dark contract card from your deck to the graveyard, except double D Savant Copernicus. You can only use this effect of double D Savant Copernicus once per turn. This allows us to peek into the deck, so let's summon you. And what do we got? Double D Savant Newton, double D Proud Ogre. And accept double D monsters. Double D Night Howl, which is double D Savant Galilei, dark contract with the Witch, double D Savant Nicola, dark contract with the Gate, double D Savant Galilei, double D Vice Typhon, double D Savant Kepler, double D Savant Thomas, contract with the Swamp King, sends a card from our deck to the graveyard, huh? What do I want to get rid of? Let's get rid of Vice Typhon. And then Pendulum summon these two. To exceed summon Triple D Duodon King Kali Yuga. And I want to keep him out of the extra monster zones. That's negated. No. Time Pendulum Graph. Actually, what do these two do? Your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with spell cards or effects. If a face up Magician Pendulum monster card or cards leaves your monster zone or pendulum zone, add one Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Star Pendulum Graph once per turn. Your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with trap cards or effects. You can only use the following effect of Time Pendulum Graph once per turn. You can target one Magician Pendulum monster card in your monster zone or pendulum zone, and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them. Then, if this effect did not destroy two cards, you can send one card from your field to the graveyard. Okay, so these are like spell and trap versions of Time Gazer and Stargazer. I kind of want to wait. Black Fang Magician. And Supreme King Gate 0. Destroy them. Well, in that case, I might as well. This doesn't negate effects, but oh wow. He's gonna pendulum summon again. No. No sense of wasting a torrential tribute. Oh. Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. No, again, there's no point. So why did he do that? He can't... Oh wait, what did that do? Once returned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack points. Oh. I'm gonna wait on that. Get rid of you. Okay, Zark, what else do you got? I can't stop I can't stop any effects anymore, so... And he's got nothing. What do I need to fusion summon you again? 2 double D monsters. Well, that's 1 double D monster. Astrograph Sorcerer. Which has Dark Magician level stats. If a card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or card effects... Well, actually, no. Let's go ahead and cover this guy, because he is a little bit important. And he's also banned. Astrograph Sorcerer is a dark attribute, level 7, spellcaster type Pendulum Effect monster with a pendulum that has a pendulum skill of 1. It has 2,500 attack points and 2,000 defense points. Its pendulum effect is, during your main phase you can destroy this card, and if you do, take 1 Stargazer Magician from your hand or deck, and either place it in your pendulum zone or special summon it. You can only use this effect of Astrograph Sorcerer once per turn. Its monster effect is, if a card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can choose 1 monster in your graveyard extra deck or that is banished, and that was destroyed this turn. And add one monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card you control plus 4 monsters from your hand, field, and or graveyard. One each with Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon in their names. Special summon one Supreme Kane Zarc from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon, so it's literally meant to get Zarc out faster. But he would still need to get the 4 in his hand, field, or graveyard. And it's probably easier to get them in the graveyard, and it's probably easier to use Astrograph Sorcerer than anything else to bring out Supreme Kane Zarc. Star Pendulum Graph. So I need to get rid of him. Ooh, yes! What? You can fusion summon one Fiend-type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. You can only use this effect to dark. If summoning a double D fusion monster this way, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as fusion materials. Oh! Let's get rid of you. And let's get rid of both the Thomases since we won't be needing them anymore. I didn't mean to put you there. Shoot. Let's go ahead and add a card back. Okay, Zark, one final turn. What do you got? Supreme Kane Dragon Darkworm. Okay, so now he can Pendulum Summon monsters that are between 1 and 4. Those are between 1 and 4. Black Fang Magician. And that's it. What card is this? During another player's turn, you can discard this card and target one double D or dark contract card you control. Return to the hand. Oh. There's like no point then. You cannot Pendulum Summon monsters as double D monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn during your standby phase, increase this card's Pendulum scale by 2, max 10. Then destroy all monsters you control at a level less than or equal to this card's Pendulum scale except double D monsters. And I win. You said that Yuya Sakaki inspired you when he discovered pendulum summoning, but you were so wrong. How's that? Yuya Sakaki discovered nothing. For your information, it was I who gave birth to pendulum summoning. When Ray defeated me, I knew I needed to discover a more powerful technique in order to win our rematch. And discover it I did. Meanwhile, Riley heard a strange but familiar voice. Hey, is it really you? Ray, right? How did you stop Zark with just 4 cards? Those 4 cards contained all the energies of the universe. With them, I stopped Zark, splitting him across dimensions. But stopping Zark isn't the same as ending him. I knew Zark would resurrect one day, stronger than before. And he has, with the power of Pendulum. Let's move. We gotta stop Zark before it's too late. Zark prepared to deal the final blow against Declan. That was fun, but all good times come to an end. Declan! Riley, what do you think you're doing? I'm not Riley. It's me, Ray. Ray? No! I've stopped you before, and guess what, Zark? I'm gonna stop you again. Like both edges of a swinging pendulum, if evil is to exist, then so must good. So if there is Zark, there must be Yuya. Yuya, set yourself free. Silence! There is no Yuya. Suzu? I've been waiting for years to get my revenge, and nothing will stop me from achieving my ultimate victory. No, Zark, I won't let you. No one will smile again. Yuya, when things get tough, respond with a smile. It will give you the strength to keep moving forward. That's right. Now's your chance, Riley. End this duel. I'm going to seal Zark away for good. No! In the next episode, will be the finale. And we will start the finale in one last duel. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.